Hello, everyone. This is Barbara Iris Salsu of Parental World Knowledge. I'm so sorry that we're a little late today. My laptop wanted to update, and I clicked update, and I've been waiting, and then I could not get back on Google Hangouts. I tried to do call, and it would not work with the new update. I don't understand, but look, I guess that's why they're changing things to YouTube soon. It just doesn't work in conjunction with the new technology. Well, at least I'm on, thank goodness. And I promised we would do cooking with eggplant. Otherwise, I would have did an art show. But I promised yesterday I would do the eggplant, Japanese eggplant. And I felt if people went out and bought it, and they'd be angry that they went out and bought all this stuff and then they couldn't make it. And I didn't want to disappoint, so I felt be a little later for doing it, and let's do it. All right, so we're going to be making Japanese eggplant. And if you hear some barking, I'm going to have to let my dog in. He didn't want to come in. I've been trying while we're updating all this time. I went out like 3 times in my backyard, and I'm a little concerned because they said there was a report of a bear in this area, and it ate a whole dog. So I never leave him too long, even though I got a gate. I have it blocked off. Even though it's locked the gate, I still have it blocked off with large pieces of wood, and I have boulders against it and everything. But I still get nervous. I have to know that he's okay. I never, leave him in the yard. I just leave him, right over here, right by the porch where he is. So at any rate, everything's fine. Other than just this, I couldn't get on, and I apologize again. All right, so let's go. Now we need Japanese eggplant, and just get my beautiful eggplant. Excuse me. Now I have 3 eggplants, Japanese eggplants, because they're rather small and I want to make it for a few people. So I'm going to have that. And you'll probably have leftovers. You can make another meal out of that. if the eggplants are, about this size, I mean, you probably have a second meal out of that. So you can always reheat it. So make sure you put enough sauce. You're going to need some tomato sauce. You're going to need all kinds of seasoning. You're going to need garlic seasoning. If you have oregano, I use thyme. I also put in sea salt. I also would put in basil, and I like a lot of basil. But you do, what you like, of course, your seasoning. I don't want to tell you how much. And I like cilantro. And I just love putting chives in and parsley with my cooking. I always put it in with everything. It just goes so well. So that's something new. And I'm set from there. And if you have mozzarella cheese, you can also use that. And if you prefer, I mentioned yesterday also, if you didn't want to use the cheese, you could use a fresh apple. And you're going to need something for breadcrumbs. And I did mention yesterday that I'm using the kamut flour. So I hope you have that, or if you have something, a substitute, you can use, breadcrumbs. But, I really prefer, this is so much healthier for you. And you're going to need a good oil, as I mentioned yesterday. So I'm using my large jar of, it's avocado oil. I also have olive oil, but I prefer, I like it's lighter. Even though it has been a report olive oil is very healthy for you, but even healthier is the avocado oil. And I just bought an extra large one online and saved a lot of money. So, look into that. If you can, find a food company online, you might save a little bit more like I did. All right. And that's about it, what you would need. So let's begin. All right. First of all, when I make my eggplant, I make it on top of the stove. So you're going to need a large pan. And it should be preferably either porcelain, or if you have, like I have glass pans from France, you could use that. So either one is perfect. All right. Now I'll have to see what's available because I know my son was cooking. So whatever he does, I have to look to see what I have left. I don't know. And you'll need a lid. So make sure you have a lid for your pan. I have my porcelain pan. See? So that's all you need. Good size pan. Always rinse your pans for the dishwasher. You never know. The way electricity goes with the heat. It could go off. You want to know that it's clean. So you wouldn't want a film of your detergent. Even though mine's biodegradable and a very healthy detergent, I still wouldn't want to have that. And put it on a low flame. Now, I'm making for a few people, but I'm going to put just 2 tablespoons of oil in because I have a porcelain pan. You don't need, even though it says a tablespoon per person, that's too much. You don't need that much. But porcelain won't stick. Spread the oil. Hope you were enjoying the day. Mostly was very pleasant here. It's starting to get a little humid later in the afternoon in West Orange, New Jersey, but it was really quite pleasant most of the day. Use the other cutting board. I hope Pac-Man's feeling better. He mentioned the other day, I guess the heat is maybe getting him. But be very careful. Drink a lot of fluids, everybody. I should know because I was waiting for cabs outside, and then our car had an accident. Someone hit it when my son was driving. So, I was out in the heat that day, Saturday. I saw in the papers was the worst day to be out. And of course I had to be an hour and a half outside. waiting for them to do the police report. But you need to do that. You can't just take the information and take off. Anything can happen. So you gotta wash this wall with purified water. You have to have a police report. You have to go to your insurance company same day. You know, it was really, really horrible on my health with all that heat. 3 days. I still haven't quite recovered. I'm okay, but you know, still not quite myself. Drink a lot of water, tea, fresh fruit, vegetables. Made a lot of bananas before I even started eating. Made sure I have that. The potassium, the energy. This eggplant looks lovely. I'll show you, see? It should be nice and purple, so Japanese eggplant. If you're using regular eggplant, it's okay too. So what you're going to do is peel. You have to cut off the ends and then start peeling away from you. Now you can use a peeler, but these are very thin. I would suggest you use a good paring knife, better off. You know, you have thin ones. I wouldn't use a paring. I wouldn't use a peeler necessarily. And I have a webinar. I signed up for a webinar for 4 o'clock, and then I go and click the link, and it says it's starting at 6. I'm going, what? And I have another webinar at 7. So I would have never signed up for it if I knew that it was at 6. Hey. But it definitely said 4 Eastern, and then I go and look. It then changes to, so evidently, to 6 o'clock, evidently, you know, there was a mistake, someone initially, with the time period. You know, you're listing Pacific, Eastern, you're listing all around the world what times there are that happen mistakes. I had one person once put the wrong day for their webinar. And I go, how can it be this date if it's on a Wednesday? It had to be Thursday. And so I wrote the person and I said, you know, you have the wrong day for your webinar. Now, I've never done that. I mean, I know what day, what time, unless, you know, emergency like today came up. I mean, I couldn't do the update to the computer faster. You know, it takes a certain amount of time. Now, I promised I'd do this eggplant, and if I did a different show, I wouldn't be keeping my word. So I'm not going to, you know, go on. I could have gone on my son's computer, but I feel if I give my word I'm going to make something, and you went out and bought all this stuff, I'd feel horrible. You're counting on it. I hate that, you know. I don't like my son says we're going to have something, and then he changes his mind. I hate that. I hate that. I hate when he does that. And they say women change their mind. It's men too. Not just women. But when I say I'm going to make something, I stick to it. You know, that's something I don't want to change my mind about. And don't make them too, you know, I'm making it, you know, the slices, as you could see, a good amount. Don't make it too thin, because when it cooks, you don't want it to get too soggy. So, you know, make them good slices. Thick enough. I mentioned that the other day. I don't, you know, like my eggplant too thin. I added that to my stir fry the other day. Make good slices. Actually, doing it to stir fry, because then it takes longer, you know, cooking with all the other vegetables. It has to be in the pan longer. I always put the eggplant at the end when I do a stir fry, in case you missed the show. And you need organic eggs, you know, for your eggplant. You need about 3. Sorry if I didn't mention that before. I'm a little worried my dog is still outside. He barked once before, and like I said, went out a couple of times, and then he didn't come in. He wanted to still stay out because other dogs are out. He likes playing. And right in the next yard, he plays with them. They can't come in the yard, but they're, you know, right by the gate. And there's little teeny openings, you know, in the gate. But not that an animal could go into the yard, thank goodness. Because there is a pretty big dog next door, and he plays with it, but, you know, I wouldn't totally trust. I think I hear him now. He either barks or he scratches on the door, and he's scratching. So let me just go get him. Okay. I'm going to just turn that off for a minute. I'll be right back. So sorry. All right, baby, come on. He's scratching. Get in here. Now making the eggplant. Hey, I can't lock the door. You okay, baby? Everything all right? There we go. Sorry, everybody. If I didn't know there was a bear loose, I wouldn't be worried. They also said they reported a cougar too, which we've never had bears and cougars loose. But the cougar comes out very late at night. But the bear could be out during the day. That was a report. Ugh, awful. Get a good sized bowl. Just a small casserole bowl. Put the eggs in. I'm glad you're okay, dear. There's Placidos. He's going to get me eggs. I've had so many dogs, I've never had to worry about bears, cougars. I can't believe what's going on today. How they got loose, I have no idea. I usually have very good control with everything. And it's interesting, it said in Canada, a bear, they were very upset concerning a bear and somebody harming it. So, but I mean, I'm worried about my puppy. I'm worried about me. I have to go out and walk him and to hear that there's a bear is not a good thing. I haven't spotted it. I mean, I go out all the time, so I haven't spotted anything. We have a lot of lights. So I go out at night. So I'm just delighted that my puppy has always been safe. I never leave him, thank goodness. Keep an eye, stay right by the window here and check him. And that's a good thing. I don't know, next door, they know about the bear. They still leave their dog out. I can't do that. I wouldn't take a chance. My dog is an inside dog. I never leave him out. Even if I didn't know there was a bear, he's an inside dog. I'm not going to leave him out. By knowing that, I can't see how you could take a chance with a dog. That's crazy. I rinse it again, just to be sure. Shake off the water. And just let it absorb in that egg. It's good, it soaks it up. Okay, got it all. Just mix it in that egg quite well. Make sure it's really covered. That's it. Just keep mixing with that fork, keep stirring and stirring until that's all covered. Turn it over. That's good. And then later you can pour the eggs from the bowl onto it too. But right now, I'm going to get the breadcrumbs, put it on a plate, and that's with the kamut flour. So I'm just going to get a plate right here. Have one? No, I don't. Oh well, my son was here. I'm going to go get another plate, excuse me. Be good. Don't go in that bathroom. Play with your toys. Come back down here. You want to eat? You better listen. You want to have good food? You better listen. You hear me? Now, I might want to do something else. I'm not going to dirty this. Just going to move it for a minute. Get my flour and my seasoning. This is the kamut whole grain flour. Comes in a package, kamut. This is stone ground flour, organic. It says right on top organic. I don't know if you can see, it says organic. This is healthier than using regular flour. You'll put back your flame. Turn it off before because I didn't want to leave it too long. Put a good amount to cover the whole, all three. I'm putting enough in here. Should be a good pile of flour. That should be. And you're going to season your flour. All the seasoning I mentioned. Now my son likes it a little spicier, but I don't put in, he puts his chili powder in too, that's organic, but I don't want that. You could if you like it real spicy. If you're not adding the cheese, don't forget you need the apple if you want. I'm just making mine plain. I don't have anything. My son is working later, so he didn't have time to go to the store, and so I don't have the cheese, and I don't even have apple, but that's okay. I've had it before plain, but the only difference is you're going to put, like I'm going to put next, after I put the breadcrumbs, I'm going to put it in the pan, let it get golden brown on both sides. Then I'm going to add some sauce. Then I would put the cheese, then I'd add some more sauce. But if you're not going to be putting the cheese and you're going to put the apple, just put the apple with the eggplant. And you could have the option, if you want to make it without the sauce, you could just put the apple, the eggplant, once it's breaded and brown on each side, then put the apple. And make it sliced, make it, not too big slices, make them not real thin, but at least a good slice, like wedges, but not too thick. And then put that with the eggplant and cook it the same way. There's no difference. It's just that you're not using the sauce and the cheese. But it comes out great. Apple down the eggplant. I've made that before. Delicious. Okay, I put my salt. I'm going to put my parsley. As I said, I ran out of oregano, so I don't have that. Use extra basil. Light, I use light on my garlic because it's a hybrid, I found out. Just for taste. Oh, and for Monday, I decided I'm going to make muffins. And I'm going to use my gamut flour, and I'm going to use my fonio grain, because we have a grinder that made the fonio out of seed. And I also have, I'm going to ask my son if the other one that he bought, it's seeded and he didn't grind it. And I'm just wondering if that's okay to put in my muffins before I announce what it is. But you need definitely the fonio. And you're going to need, of course, for muffins, milk, and organic milk I use. And in addition, you're going to need eggs, organic eggs. I also put in vanilla, so you'll need that too. I also put in some cinnamon. And I'm going to make it with blueberries. So I have some frozen blueberries. So that is what you're going to need. Now I'll find out about that other grain and see if I'm going to be using that too. I can't, announced I need to talk to him. There is one other grain I have, so I don't know which one I'm going to be using. But we're going to be making muffins, and if you have some grain that is already, this is already from our mill, our fresh mill. So you'd need at least that it's grinded. You can't be using big seeds into the muffins that we're going to make. Now those are very small seeds, so I don't know if that's appropriate or if that has to be just cooked in a cereal, which I know he tends to do. So I'm going to find out what purpose is for that, because he ordered it, I didn't, so I don't know. But there are no bakeries that are making these muffins. So this is our health retreat here. We've got every herb, and you won't be able to get these muffins anywhere else unless you make them. So watch for Monday. It should be a great day. I can't wait. And I will check to see what that other one is. I've never used it. I just want to let you know real fast. Hold on. So I'm going to use most likely the teff, but it's Acorn, Eikorn. I might use, but it's seeded. So I don't know if I have to use my grinder before I use that. So I'd have to know that. I don't want to, do something I'm not supposed to be doing. So I'm going to have to find out. This is nice and hot. I can put them in. Who knows? Maybe I can use all three. We'll see. See what my son says. Otherwise, I have to grind it, and that could take a half hour. I need a half hour to prep it, so, and then bake it. I really wouldn't have time to do that during the show to grind that one, so I don't know if I'll use the acorn. We'll see. Make sure you cover it completely, your eggplant. What's going on? It's okay. Probably the mailman. Okay, take it easy. Honey, it's all right. Stop it, Platinos. It's okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's just the mailman. Oh, this looks great. Starting to brown up. I just put a little extra, not too much, but a little extra on the eggplant because you're going to have a little extra eggs to pour on there. A little extra of vermouth. Especially if you're using the apple. You want to have a lot for the downy. You could put your slices into this too for the apple downy. You know, dip the slices into the egg and then put it into the mousse. That's starting to brown up, so I can turn it over. You probably would turn it a number of times because you don't want it to burn. And put the rest of the eggs. It's good to have the bowl because, you know, the casserole dish that has these little spouts so that you can pour the egg out. Just try to move it around a little bit to get all the egg that I just poured in. I'm gonna go get my sauce. And since I don't have the cheese or the apple, I'm going to put a little coconut nectar to sweeten it up a little bit. Just a teeny bit of this. The last time I made it without, but I'd like it a little sweeter. And the apple or the cheese will make it a little bit sweeter. So I'm going to pour for 3 people, so 3 tablespoons. Trying something new. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to add to this, but I had a feeling there was something I wanted to try different. Wasn't sure if I was going to add a vegetable or this. Everything's okay. Just the mailman. He can't play. They're busy. He wants to play. He doesn't want to bite the mailman. He wants to play, as I said in earlier shows. He's getting mad. He says, I want to play. And they're not playing. That's what he's saying by barking and growling. I'll put that up a little bit. Now that I have everything in. And just let it get light golden brown on both sides. You might want to flip it again, because like I said, it shouldn't be, it should be done, but not too done. You don't want it burnt. So, keep flipping it. And I'm going to add now my sauce. I use about a half a jar. I have time to start prepping. Making my own sauce today, which I normally do, but not in the summertime. Way too busy with the dog and trying for jobs. I mostly walk them because of the bear and the cougar. Spread out your sauce. And like I said, if you're adding the cheese, you would just put a little sauce and then put the cheese and then put the sauce on top. If you're adding the apple, you would have just put the apple in a little bit of the egg and the breadcrumbs and put it on there. So I would have, if you needed more eggs, I would add some more eggs so you can have the apple moist enough. You ran out of eggs. I like a lot of eggs with my eggplant. So I put 3 eggs and I'm not using the apple. So I would say, use another egg to get the apple moist. That's the only difference. So, and I would let this cook until that is heated, so it's going to have to be at least 12 minutes, the sauce from the jar. Mine takes about 5. And so I'm just going to let that sizzle and cook. Maybe turn it over a little bit. I'm going to lower it a little bit because I want to say a prayer. Oh, yeah, that's getting nice and done. Beautiful. Simply beautiful. Now, if you're using the cheese, you could put more than a half. I put, just because I'm not using the cheese, but if you're using the cheese, you could put in about another quarter of a jar of sauce. So I use just a half, but I would say 3/4 because you want it totally covered the cheese. You don't want just the cheese showing. Alrighty, so it's the only difference. And I just pray everyone has good peace, good health, good strength. And hopefully you don't need this prayer now, but if you do, say it please to God. God heals 100%. Amen. All right, and I want to thank you for tuning in. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience of this updating. Oh, why do you have to update at 5 o'clock? This is my show time. I don't know. I don't know why, this had an update from Dell at my time of my show. Any rate, and I couldn't turn it on otherwise. So have a wonderful night or day. Looking forward to seeing you Monday. We'll be making those muffins. And, have on hand, even though I might not use it, the acorn, the fonio, and the teff I definitely would use with the kamut flour, the eggs, and the oil. I'm going to use, again, the same oil of avocado. And the spices, basically, I like a cinnamon, and I would put in also ginger if I had it, but I ran out. And I would say the only other thing would be just the liquid. I want to have a little sweetener, so I'm going to use the coconut nectar. And that's, and just have the organic eggs and milk. Organic milk. That's it. Or you could use the hemp milk if you don't have the organic milk, as I said the other day. Oh, and of course, Google took a picture of me holding the hemp milk. I don't even hardly use hemp milk, but they took a picture like I'm a real big user of hemp milk. Hysterical. Well, have a good night or good day again. Bye now. Now I can't turn it off. They don't want me to leave. All right.